So I dug out my old slot car set the other day, and it didn't work. So growing up, I had the Tyco TCR slot car tracker. You could, flip the little knob, and cars would change lanes. And a little jam car and everything. So it was a lot of fun growing up, but I was kind of disappointed that it didn't work anymore, and I couldn't find any parts for it on eBay or any new old stock, nothing like that. So I was poking around good old YouTube, and I came across MP Slot, I think he is, a Canadian guy, big Ferrari nut. If you probably watched this because it says Carrera, it's probably nothing new. You know who he is. But I actually stumbled across one of his live streams, and I kind of was like, okay, so slot cars have evolved quite a bit, and that kind of got me going down this little rabbit hole, so to speak. So I picked up a set off of Facebook Marketplace. Some kid wasn't playing with it anymore, so his parents wanted it out of the house. Good for me. Picked it up, not too bad. I think it was 200, 250-ish. And then I picked up the Spirit of Speed set off of Amazon, which if you shop around, I've seen it much cheaper, and that was closer to 400. So yeah, you can look around, find some deals. But I like both of these sets because each set actually came with 3 cars. So then the used set I bought, that family actually bought a 4th car. So 7 cars total, which is great for having people over. And this is the first big track layout we did, and I had 4 guys come over the other night, and we had the Smart Race app running on my Mac up to the TV over here. Good fun. Stereo was rocking, telling us that it was raining and all that jazz. We couldn't get the fuel situation worked out, but since it was the first group race, I'm not too worried about that. We'll figure that set up later. But yeah, it was pretty fun. A couple little nuances with this particular setup. Let me see if any of this will happen. So we got the computer running right now. Everybody seemed to pretty much figure out this little first bend area. No problems here. Got up to that bank turn down here. No worries there. This got a little tricky over here. I don't have guardrails up everywhere. So watch the car come back around. We got the bridge set up, and then this doesn't quite line up. This became an issue over here. You can kind of tell it's separated. Tried using the software as best as I could to get something interesting. So that became an issue, and then this was kind of a blind spot because we had 5 guys over here basically sitting right next to each other. We couldn't actually see that corner, at least I couldn't. So it was a pretty rough spot. Imagine not being able to see this. All right, so there's a nice little turn you can't see. Half the time my car was flipped off, upside down. Couldn't do anything. I had to jump up, go flip it over, and not step on the track, right? Imagine 4 other guys doing this, and I mean, we're not little, let's put it that way. So yeah, there's a lot of anxiety about someone tripping on the, Ferrari just fell off the track, going too slow. A lot of anxiety about someone tripping on the track and just smashing all of this. So I was like, all right, well, I see why people buy the wireless controllers. Problem is, I don't want to spend that much. That's crazy. So I was thinking maybe I could solder something together. So I took apart the control board because they're a goofy connector. I think it's DEC. It's the connector type. Basically, it looks like a phone cord, except for the plug. The spring is offset. So could find them on the internet, it seemed like, but I figured it might be easier to just convert it to a typical phone jack, because they're only using, well, that one doesn't count. Of course, I didn't look at this one. So this one, they are using all 6 colors there. Let's see. The controllers, I believe, are only using the 4. As I do this, it makes me look like a liar. Probably look at the screen. Yeah, they're only using the 4 pins. So just exactly like a phone cord. In my former life, I used to do some telephony, so I figured, let me see what I can do. So the ports on the control board, they're soldered to the actual circuit board, so I don't want to mess with that. My soldering is pretty amateur, so I figured maybe I could just kind of hack this together. So I disconnected a controller. This is proof of concept kind of idea because it obviously doesn't look that good. So I had plenty of Cat 5, so I wanted to do a proof of concept. Took the controller apart, desoldered the spring, the coiled cord, soldered the Cat 5, 4 of the lines to the Cat 5 to the controller, soldered it to the original coiled cord, and then I wanted to see if this is going to work. And what do we got? Maybe about 8 feet of cord attached here. So yeah, obviously it'd still be a tripping hazard, but at least let us spread out a little bit and not be in each other's faces the entire time, and actually be able to see the track where someone crashes. But yeah, it seems to work pretty good so far. Make sure nothing's short in there. And the way I reassembled it, the Cat 5 is too thick, so I can't get the plunger down all the way. But that's fine. I have another idea how I can clean that up. But yeah, it works. And that Porsche is pretty nice. And you can watch this go one more time, right? It's very cathartic. Yeah, it was a good time though. A lot of interesting times as we were kind of figuring out the system. Because obviously, if you just run it without the computer, without the Smart Race app, it's pretty straightforward. But yeah, once you get that app running, it gets there's a lot to juggle there. We were able to do weather, no problem. So we were able to go in and pit for tires. Fueling, we were having some issues with, so I ended up turning that off. And then kind of towards the end of the night, we experimented with the damage, which is if you take too long around the track, the computer will simulate some sort of damage, so you have to pit. So yeah, pretty cool. It's a fun little setup for sure. It takes up a lot of space though. It's a shame that the 143 isn't in the U.S. the digital, or maybe it was, but not now. That'd be easier to make a smaller footprint. But yeah, it was a fun track. Otherwise, that corner here, that's going to get killed off. I got to figure out some other way, and then I'm going to see if I can maybe compress it up against this back wall so I can get the weight bench going again, and kind of reclaim some of this basement here. Yeah, fun stuff. And then some of the borders, like here's a Jersey barrier with a fence. I got some other parts over here. I've been experimenting with some of the 3D printing designs that people have posted up on printables, and I can't think of the other one right now. Thingiverse. So I'm kind of playing around with these are supposed to be tires. A little too red, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that actually comes into play. But I printed some stands that somebody had designed. Yeah, no original designs here for the 3D world. So that's all other designers from the past 10 years or so. But yeah, it's pretty fun. Catch you guys later.